And that might be at different levels, right? There's different levels. But I want to make sure that, because it's easier for me to convince all the middle men and women if there is dollars at the end, right, to be had. And I'm saying, look, I want to capture all of this, and you get this, you get, you pick your piece along the way. So I think I would want to start with the dollars. I don't know, because, every business will be different in different industries, especially in something that's still developing. But I think that, in general, the way that people believe is when there's dollars behind it, and I've seen a lot of people pitch ideas to me, to other places, where they had an idea that ultimately didn't have dollars. I think you could get away with that. There was a moment in time, maybe about 5-7 years, where people were investing into a lot of ideas, but now there's a lot of ideas in the marketplace. And so for investors to put money into it, they need to know that there's going to be some sort of dollar return. And those who are able to prove that quickest, I think are stand to gain investment dollars or be able to get their businesses off the ground fastest. So I don't know about your situation because I just don't know enough about it, but in my theory, I want to prove that there's a consumer demand and that there's a dollar value to be had from that. Yeah. That's sort of a blanket answer, but does it make sense?
Yeah. You own a place in town that you rent out on Airbnb. I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about that and
Sure.
the process, because I think Airbnb is such an awesome idea to use excess capacity. I mean, have you liked the experience so far?
So everyone familiar with Airbnb, right? Most part, you rent out places. So basically, it's like renting a hotel room, except it's people's houses or people's rooms. Okay. So interesting. So I lived in this. I bought a grocery store. There's an old community grocery store in 2nd F, and my kitchen was a former butcher shop. It's just an open air place. When I bought it, it was really run down. I got a heck of a deal on it. And I spent 10 years, that said an architecture background, I have a passion for space. And so I built it over the course of 10 years into be a really kick-ass place. Like, it's a bachelor pad, like it was amazing.
You can show it on, it's actually, I think it's really sweet.
Yeah, so it is cool. Is everything good here?
Just wiggle it.
So, okay, yeah, so. So yeah, here's some pictures of it. So it's just this, it's an awesome place. It's this Welcome to Almonds because that's the name of the guy. So the history of it is that it's, you ever heard the Germans from Russia story? So basically all these Germans go to Russia under false pretenses. Russia kind of screws them over. It's not what they imagine. So these Germans who are now from Russia come to the United States. A clan of them settle here in Lincoln. The leader of that clan is named H.J. Amen. He builds this building. He is the banker, he is the grocer, he is the butcher, he is the insurance agent, he is the everything for these people. And this building is the central hub of the entire community. I'll build their houses around it. So it gets run down in the 70s. I buy it. I can turn it into this over time. And like this is the original counter that was in there. This is H.J. Amen's desk. Photos in here. This is an old freezer unit. What else? Double doors when you come in. Put some artwork up that's of grocery material. Grocery boxes, that was fun. Old weight thing in there. See a sign. Here's a kitchen. It's a butcher shop. So it's kind of fun, There's no doors. The bathroom's completely open. Bunch of toilet paper for the toilet. Bed. It's all in the wide open, so that's kind of the fun. And there's tons of like these great finds at this Bronx candy shop. So I get married, and then my wife's sort of like ready to do her thing. I'm from this weird creative realm, so I like this kind of stuff. She likes typical houses, so I'm like, oh my gosh, we'll never find something that both of us love. We go to some realtor places. I find this realtor. I tell him, we tell him, hey, this is the kind of thing we're into, and I'm like, this guy does not get it at all, but whatever. We don't hear from him, we don't hear from anybody. For like 6 months, this guy calls us up on a Friday, like at 4 o'clock, and says, I found the perfect thing. but here's the catch, you gotta come see it and buy it tonight if you want it. Otherwise, it's going on the market tomorrow. And I'm like, sketchy real estate agent. I haven't heard from you in 6 months, you don't know me, we talk for 5 minutes. But we go, and we're about the same time, I'm curious. Like, I'm like, at the same time, I should probably go check this guy out. So we go, and sure enough, he's right. We love it, it's perfect, and so we buy it that night before it goes on the market. And I could do it because I knew that the price that was being offered, they were just trying to move on, or move to California. And I knew that if it got on the market, it's gonna go a lot higher, so I was like, investment-wise, I'm just gonna pick this up now, and if I get buyer's remorse in a couple months, fine, I'm gonna make money on it. Emotionally, I wasn't ready to move, so I sat and just let it sit empty for about a year. Finally, I was able to move, but I didn't want to give this up. And so the solution, rather than renting it out, because I love to go watch football games there and stuff, it's like the perfect place. So instead of giving it up, I was like, maybe I can just rent it out on Airbnb. And so I put it up, and it's got an amazing response. So I block out the dates that I want, and then I let people rent it, and it gets great traffic, honestly.
So it's $134 a night?
Yeah, so it's funny because I charge 100, on the weekend I charge 120, so $14 Airbnb. I've actually never looked at this. It's 110 during the week, 120 during the night. But it is the perfect place to watch games.
gonna
Like, it's
say.
amazing. Yeah. So it's priced right, you know, and my experience with Airbnb has been pretty good. They have a really interesting product that they continue to innovate. They keep improving it even in the last. This one's only been up now for 5 months, and and as the community grows, so I probably have half of every month is rented out, which is perfect for me.
Yeah.
You know, because I still get to go over there.
And you have like, that pays for your mortgage or whatever
Absolutely.
bills that you have
Yeah, way more
associated
than
with
that.
it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I should have said, in the back of this, there's already another rental unit, so when I bought it with a rental unit already that I could rent out, and so it paid for all the construction of the place. Yeah, it was a heck of a deal.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
So since you've already done something like this, does that make you kind of want to do more stuff like that, real estate wise? Is that kind of like a little passion for you, like your big?
There's a piece of me that wishes I was an architect. Yeah.
Yeah.
And my current house is completely under construction now.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, I guess there's a piece of me that wishes that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've never got into architecture or anything, but like, I kind of like HGTV, you know, like, you know, some of the fixer-upper shows, you know, I just enjoy stuff like that, you know, just making cool things and creative things.
I know just enough to kind of get away with it a bit, you know, and so. I got enough architect friends though now that I can rely on, so my new house I have an architect stamp. This one I never even got a permit for, and I realized later I was probably supposed to have a permit and all that kind of stuff. But, good, other questions, thoughts? Yeah.
I might have asked you this before, and since I'm asking you again, I probably didn't.
I hope I get the same answer.
Well, whatever I tried didn't work. So here I am again. We're trying to do something, and I guess the group that we're trying to affect are students who are apathetic.
Okay.
And so we've tried a few things and they haven't worked. And I'm still trying to figure out what would be the way to affect a group that's apathetic. I don't
Give
know
them
if you-
ownership.
What's that?
Give them ownership.
Hmm.
So sometimes what I find is that, like I talked about the influencers a moment ago, a way to get them on board is to give them some ownership. That doesn't mean stock, money, anything like that, but it means that they have impact and influence on the product or service. So if they feel invested into it, even if it's just in their time, you know, that they see something from it. It's almost Kickstarter style, right? You know, where you get something. So again, not knowing the situation, one strategy I've used is giving consumer, I call it consumer venture partners. And so the big idea of consumer venture partners is a trend that we rely on, is that we give the consumer control, sort of like a consumer board of directors, to our people who are buying our product and allow them to influence the decisions, or at least seemingly influence it, if nothing else. So when they feel like they got to pick the flavor, let me just use a basic example, I got to pick the flavor, I'm buying that bag of potato chips, you know, because I'm invested into it. It's my decision. Of course I'm going to do it. And so there's ways to do that at really light levels, to do it to a lot of people. Then they are part of the adventure. They buy in a lot more than us pushing it on them, you know, because now they're the inside of the circle rather than the outside. So.
I'm trying to relate to that. So would an example of that be something like you have a Facebook thing or like some kind of voting system, or like the consumer says, vote for what you'd like to see the next flavor be, Is that what you're
I
saying?
think that's at the simplest level, yes.
Okay.
Like straight up, like most easy example, yes. But it can be way more complex than that, you know, it could be that they're making decisions that go beyond aesthetics or basics, you know, if there's a way to invite them even deeper into the process. You know, another easy example is they're going to test the product and be the voice for that test. You know, they get to be the person that says, yes, this is good stuff, you know, or whatever, like, so it can go a lot deeper. But
Kind of like a think tank?
yeah, yeah, sure, that could be another way to go about it. Any way where they can feel invested into the program, time, money, they gave something, and so by giving something, I expect to have influence on it. So I allow that exchange to happen, and whether it's superficial or really intentional, they are now along with the ride, they're coming along with us, you know. Though can you make it? Those guys are Red Bull, they're buying Red Bull for life, you know? And they will be champions to all their friends, and that will continue to push down. You know, the next person says, so are my best friends, got to go on this amazing Red Bull thing, you know, and they think that's cool, and so like, that's how it builds. And so they're invested into it through their time. They gave us 8 days of their life, and we made it worth it to them. Now that's the exchange. So the theory is the more that they're on the inside of the circle, the better opportunity we have to widen the circle. Yeah.
I was just gonna ask, what books would you recommend people, entrepreneurs, or what would you like to
I have
have
two books
read?
for you. I have 2 books for you.
Okay.
2 that came to mind right away. First one's The Fountainhead by Ayn Rand. Maybe you guys have read that book. It's it looks intimidating at first because it's really thick, but for anybody who's out trying to change the norm, go against the grain, as I was when I read it with Arch Rival. Imagine what that name Arch Rival says, going against. There's a conflict that's going on. Fountainhead is about that. It's really great.
Can I stop you right there on that note?
Yeah.
You know, I'm a marketing student, and it seems like everybody just wants to use social media now for all marketing purposes. Is there like one thing that you're doing right now that's just like different from that? Because it seems like every solution, every problem is pay-per-click advertising, social media.
Why are you searching for that?
Let's pick it up what he said.
Is there a social media tactic?
Just any tactic that you're using marketing-wise that you think is different than what most marketers are doing nowadays. Like, just something different. You know, everybody's doing
Yeah.
social media. Everybody's doing,
No,
advertising.
everybody's doing everything. No, I
Okay.
can't say here's the next hot thing. I mean,
okay.
we're doing stunts. And
I know that you're using like Google Plus, and that's what you're
No,
using.
we're doing all that stuff, but it wouldn't be anything. I wouldn't be telling you anything you don't already know.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's just how you implement.
It's all about the experience.
Yep.
Second book, coming back to that. Second book is The Screw Tape Letters by C.S. Lewis.
What is it?
The Screw Tape Letters by C.S. Lewis. For anyone who's starting a business, who needs to be aware of how they spend their time, this is an interesting look at it. Have you read the book?
Mhm.
You read it? Would you agree? Like, it makes you evaluate how you are spending your time. I think entrepreneurs, more than anybody else, need to be aware of that. So it's an interesting book. It's about a devil who's trying to convince you to waste your life, and so it's the story of that. And it's eye-opening. I think it was eye-opening for me. So, and that one's an easy read. That one's easy to get through. So I mean, for the most part, you sit down and finish that in a couple hours. But Fountainhead's a little thicker, but worth the ride as well. Okay, that's probably my time. I gotta move. So
Okay.
I hope you guys got something out of it.
Yeah,
I suppose
thanks a
we'll
bunch,
see
man.
people on
It was
Thursday.
awesome.